So when I was growing up, I loved those classic fairy tale stories where the perfect guy meets the perfect girl and they get married and they live happily ever after. It's what I always dreamed for myself until I got older and I realized that happily ever after isn't just something that magically happens, it's something that you really have to work towards. In case you're wondering, I didn't get that happily ever after that I always saw in my mind, but instead I got something even more amazing. I got a legacy of love. My name is Michael Gibson. I'm 25 years old and I just wrote my first book called Real Life Love. To give you a little take on my story, I grew up with the most incredible grandpa ever. His name was Gary Smalley and he was a world-famous relationship expert.
Hello, I'm Gary Smalley, and I just want to thank you for the privilege of allowing me in your home. You know, the whole purpose of this video series is to help equip you with the knowledge and specific tools that you're going to need to deepen and strengthen all of your most important relationships.
Where most grandpas pass down their wisdom and knowledge on hunting or fishing, my grandfather passed down the secrets on how to have great relationships. I say all this to show you the incredible legacy that I got to be a part of, that I still get to be a part of.
I came from a home where there was a lot of confusion and a lot of lack of love in my home. I don't remember a lot of harmony. In fact, it was kind of home where my dad would throw the napkin down the table and say, "I'm getting out of here, there's no respect around here," and the kids would all say, "Yeah, get out of here," kind of thing. That's it, that's the kind of home I came from. So what did I know about loving somebody? I had no idea. You know, we don't realize a lot of times, but the very way we were parented and the model we had in our mom and dad, many times, if we didn't have a model, often is the case, it goes on into our own relationships and can really, really play havoc in our marriage. So I didn't understand that back then. I see it today.
In a world where pain runs rampant and the divorce rate is sky high, we need this wisdom on relationships. And that's exactly why I want to do this series, because I want to open up our family's vault. I want to give you the secrets that you need, that I've got to benefit from, so that you can create the greatest relationships ever. Think of it this way. When my little sister Zoe was 4 years old, I was 18, we're 14 years apart. We used to go on these little things called brother-sister dates, where I would take her out and we would do whatever she wanted to do. And I said, "Well, Zoe, what do you want to do today for our fun activity during our date?" And she thought for a second, and then she looked at me and she smiled and she said, "I want to go see the tigers." And I said, "Well, that's good, because I know where I can find some." And we walked through the gate to the zoo. And I remember we went up to the cages and she just sat there mystified. And she looked at me and she said, "You know, this is really cool and all, but I actually want to see real tigers." And so I realized, wow, she thinks this glass screen is just a TV screen like what she's seeing on TV, like in movies. And so her brother pulled some strings and we got to actually go back into the tigers' cages. We sat there face to face with tigers, and the zookeeper said, "It's time for me to feed these guys. Do you guys want to get in on this?" And we looked at each other and said, "Sure." The gentleman opened up the cage, and we actually got to go in and feed these tigers lunch. It was a powerful experience. That is what I want for you. I'm going to take you behind the cage, and I want you to experience real love in real life. And I know it might be scary, just like how it was for us to see those tigers, but if you're willing to take the chance, if you're willing to have courage to go behind the cage and experience love for real life, I guarantee you, you're never going to be the same.
Hachette.